This is going to blow your mind. China, the powerhouse that once dominated the West Philippine Sea, is suddenly pulling back. For years, this vast expanse has been a flashpoint, but now, the world is witnessing a dramatic shift that could reshape the region's future. China, the giant that dominated these waters, appears to be leaving. Outposts are quiet, warships gone. A powerful presence has suddenly evaporated, leaving behind a silence that feels both surreal and momentous. The Philippine flag now flies on more vessels. Filipino sailors move with confidence, asserting their nation's rights in areas long overshadowed by foreign might. The sense of newfound freedom is palpable. Across the country, people are daring to dream of a future where their voices matter and their sovereignty is respected. The world is watching, waiting to see what unfolds next in the South China Sea. To grasp how monumental this is, you need the history. The South China Sea has long been a flashpoint of tension, a maritime chessboard where nations vie for control. But for the Philippines, it has been a David and Goliath struggle against a much larger and more powerful adversary. For decades, China's navy and maritime militia bullied the Philippines, claiming nearly the entire South China Sea with a crude 9-dash line. This line, drawn arbitrarily, disregarded international laws and the sovereignty of other nations. China's tactics were relentless. Swarms of fishing boats and Coast Guard ships harassed Filipino fishermen and supply missions. These so-called fishing boats were often part of a maritime militia, a shadowy force used to assert dominance without direct military confrontation. The Philippines, outmatched, could do little but endure. Their navy, though brave, was no match for the sheer size and power of the Chinese fleet. The disparity was stark, and the sense of helplessness palpable. Under Duterte, appeasement was the policy. Promises were made, but China's grip only tightened. Diplomatic overtures and economic deals were pursued, yet the encroachment continued unabated. China built military fortresses on artificial islands, while Filipino crews bravely kept up their patrols. These islands, bristling with military hardware, were a stark reminder of the growing threat. Despite overwhelming odds, the Filipino spirit never broke. The sailors, though outgunned and outnumbered, stood firm, embodying the resilience and determination of their nation. Their quiet resistance, documenting aggression, refusing to leave, kept hope alive. By capturing these confrontations on camera, they provided undeniable evidence of the ongoing struggle, rallying international support. This courage laid the groundwork for today's astonishing turn. The world began to take notice, and the tide of international opinion started to shift. They held on long enough for the world and their own leaders to finally wake up. Global powers began to voice their support, and the Philippines found new allies in their fight for sovereignty. The underdog never gave in. Their persistence and bravery became a symbol of resistance, inspiring others to stand up against oppression. And now the tables are turning. The once dominant Chinese presence is beginning to wane, and the Philippines is reclaiming its rightful place in the West Philippine Sea. For years, China's ships patrolled the West Philippine Sea, drawing its infamous 9-dash line and intimidating its neighbors. But the tides began to turn. Even a dragon can be spooked. China's confidence cracked as resistance grew. Under President Marcos Jr., the Philippines stopped being China's doormat. He forged new alliances and strengthened old ones. The US-Philippines alliance was reignited, with American forces returning to key bases. Real boots on the ground, real deterrence. New US missile systems arrived, sending a clear message: aggression would come at a steep price. The Philippines built a coalition with Japan, Australia and others, conducting joint patrols and exercises. The world saw a united front. The message was clear. Aggression would be met with resistance, and unity was the new order of the day. The dragon's dominance was no longer assured. The West Philippine Sea had become a battleground for respect, sovereignty and international law. Then the signs appeared. Chinese maritime militia ships began vanishing from key areas like Ayungin Shoal. China blamed bad weather, but nobody bought it. Satellite images confirmed. The swarms were thinning, sometimes gone entirely. Filipino and allied patrols started outnumbering Chinese ships in contested waters. Filipino fishermen returned to their grounds, finding the sea eerily quiet. Supply missions to the BRP Sierra Madre faced less interference. The bully was losing his nerve. Intelligence suggested Beijing was rethinking its priorities, facing united opposition and economic troubles at home. The West Philippine Sea was becoming a diplomatic and strategic quagmire for China. The relentless pressure campaign was working. The tide, against all odds, was finally turning. The Philippines was reclaiming its sea. China's cabbage strategy, wrapping reefs in layers of ships, has unraveled. The once mighty ghost fleet is fading, more memory than menace. China won't admit defeat, but its retreat is obvious. It's a quiet, undeclared withdrawal, no white flags, just empty waters. The vacuum is being filled fast. The Philippine Navy and Coast Guard, with new ships and tech, are pushing deeper into their own waters. Patrols that were once dangerous are now routine. Every uncontested Filipino ship is a nail in the coffin of China's 9-line. The sea is no longer a Chinese lake. It's becoming the West Philippine Sea again. Satellites now show Philippine and allied ships where Chinese vessels once swarmed. The bully has left the playground, the ghost fleet is gone, but Filipino resilience now patrols the waves. The world is witnessing a stunning reversal. This isn't just about China leaving, it's about the Philippines rising. The country has transformed into a credible regional power through military modernization. New frigates, advanced missiles, and the BrahMos supersonic system now defend its shores. The BrahMos is a game-changer, giving the Philippines real deterrence. Military drills with the US, Japan, and Australia have built a seamless allied force. The Philippines can now operate hand-in-glove with its partners in a crisis. Assertive transparency, publicizing every Chinese provocation, rallied global support. The nation is standing taller, speaking with a stronger voice. With a stronger military and powerful friends, the Philippines is projecting power, not just protesting. It's shaping the security environment, not just reacting to it. The country has found its footing and is now learning to run. The world is taking notice. The Philippines is no longer a bystander. China's retreat and the Philippines' rise could reshape the nation's future. The most immediate benefit: economic revival. Filipino fishermen can return to rich fishing grounds, bringing prosperity to coastal communities. Oil and gas exploration, long blocked by China's claims, could finally begin. This could provide energy security and massive revenues. Politically, the Philippines is now a key middle power in the Indo-Pacific. Its coalition building and defiance will be studied by others facing similar threats. The nation is earning respect, not by size, but by courage and strategy. This success could unite the country around a policy of assertive defense. As elections approach, the public will demand leaders who protect these hard-won gains. A new era of national consensus may be at hand. So is this a new dawn or a false sunrise? The Philippines stands tall, its flag flying over reclaimed waters. Military modernization, alliances, and bold diplomacy have worked, but geopolitics is never simple. Is China's retreat permanent or just tactical? Its ambitions haven't vanished. The 9-line is still on Chinese maps. Their island fortresses remain. A change in leadership in Manila or Washington could unravel these gains. This could be a ceasefire, not a peace treaty. Now is the time for vigilance, not complacency. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. The Philippines has won a major battle, but the struggle for sovereignty is ongoing. This is a magnificent new dawn, but the country must guard against a false sunrise. The future depends on what happens next. We've witnessed a tectonic shift in the West Philippine Sea. The Philippine flag now flies over a sea that is increasingly its own. The nation has armed itself, made powerful friends, and stood its ground. The story of the helpless victim is over. A resurgent nation is shaping its destiny. Economic and political opportunities are now within reach. But the dragon is patient. Its ambitions remain. The future will be decided by the resolve of the Filipino people and their leaders. Is this the end of the struggle or just a pause before the next chapter? The answer will be written in the choices made from here on out. The world is watching. What do you think? Is this victory or just the beginning of a new game? Tell us in the comments.